Hello everyone, this is Anson from AnsonAlex.com and welcome to part 4 of my 2013 video series on using Twitter. If you didn't catch the first 3 parts, you might want to take a look. I'll link them in the description of this video. But here in part 4, we're going to be talking about privacy on Twitter. There's really only 2 forms of visibility on Twitter. Either you're publicly visible or you're completely private. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to show you how you can enable those settings. So I hope it helps and enjoy. Okay, so here we are in my Twitter account, and I'm actually just going to go to my home page here. And you'll notice that if I click on my tweets here, I have 6,755 of them, you'll notice that I have all of my tweets listed down below. Now, my Twitter account is publicly visible, so anybody in the world can look at my Twitter page and see every single one of my tweets. So just to show you that, if I actually go and I open up an incognito window here in Google Chrome and I search Anson Alex Twitter, my Twitter page is going to come up, and I'm not logged in this browser. So we'll actually see, I have the option to sign in. This is my Twitter account from just somebody who's not even logged into Twitter. So you can see they can see all of my tweets. Now, I mentioned in the intro of this video that the option you have is to protect your tweets. And if you protect your tweets, that means only people who you've approved to follow you can see all of your tweets. So let's talk about how we would go about turning that feature on, and then I'll talk about some of the implications of protecting your tweets here on Twitter. So to turn on protected tweets, I'm going to go to the top right corner of my screen where there's the gear icon once I'm in Twitter, and I'm going to click on Settings. Once we access our Twitter settings, if we scroll about halfway down the page here, you'll notice that there's this option that says Tweet Privacy, and we can protect our tweets. So if I hit this checkbox, you'll notice that only those I approve will see my tweets. However, if I've already tweeted things without being protected, those things will still be visible. So let's go ahead and let's enable this feature. I'm going to disable that once we finish this tutorial here. I need to go ahead and I need to enter my Twitter password to confirm that I want to make some changes. So now my account is protected. So if I go back to my other tab here, did I close it out? No, I've got it right here. And I refresh this page, you'll notice that it says my tweets are protected. So in order to see Anson Alex's tweets, we would actually have to hit this follow button. And if I were to request to follow Anson Alex, he would then have to approve my request. So I wouldn't be able to see any of his tweets until he approves that I can follow him. And those are really, now, and once he does approve that following, he can then see all of my tweets. That's your only option when you're protecting your tweets on Twitter. Either they can see all of them or they can see none of them. There's no middle ground. There's no in between, like on Facebook and Google Plus, where you can create groups and you can post something only to a certain group but not to everybody you're friends with. On Twitter, it's all or nothing. And I'm going to go back to my other browser window here. So, I'm actually going to disable this because I don't want to protect my tweets. If somebody's looking at me on Twitter, I want them to be able to see my tweets right now. But to be honest, if you have a lot of people that you're friends with, close family members, or just real life friends that are all using Twitter, and you're just going to use it to communicate with them, you might want to try protected tweets. I know quite a few people that do that, but for the most part, Twitter is kind of a public social network. You're tweeting about current events or things that are going on within your particular area, your city or your state, maybe following breaking news, answering some of the trends over here on the left side of Twitter. So, if you're signing up for Twitter the first time, I would recommend having a public account and just don't tweet anything that you don't want other people to see. Only tweet stuff that you want people to see. So, and then, like I said, if you do have a really close group of people that you're friends with in real life that are all using Twitter, you could then use it with your account protected, and you will have to approve everybody who follows you. Now, I wanted to mention one thing, and that is if you have a whole bunch of public tweets and then all of a sudden you make your Twitter account private, your old public tweets will still be visible. So if you did tweet something and you realize that a lot of people are seeing it, that you don't want to see it, you can actually hover over the particular tweet. So I'm at the me page. I'm looking at all of my tweets. I could hover over the particular tweet and I could delete it. And that would delete it right off of my Twitter feed so that nobody could see it. So like I said, there's really, you've just got those two levels of privacy on Twitter. Either you're completely protected, only the people that you approve can see your tweets, or you're completely open in public, and it's really up to you and how you want to use Twitter. But all it is that simple setting here in the Twitter setting where you get to click that checkbox saying whether or not you would like your tweets protected. So I hope this video helps. If it does, I would really appreciate a thumbs up here on YouTube. I don't have any specific plans for another tutorial here in my Twitter 2013 series, but I would love to see what a lot of you are looking for. If there's particular things that you'd like to learn about Twitter that you haven't already in this series, go ahead and tweet me. At AntsandAlex on Twitter, or you could go ahead and comment on this video on YouTube, and I'll do my best to get those videos out here for you because this has been a really popular series. And just for all of you who've been watching this series and then tweeting me on Twitter, I think that's awesome. That's probably one of the coolest things I've seen since I started doing all my video tutorials. I've done them on Facebook, Google+, and people will follow me or add me, but I've had so many people that have never used Twitter before, and they see this video series and they tweet me and they're saying, here's my first tweet. It's dedicated to Ants and Alex for showing me how to use Twitter. And I look at their Twitter page and they've got like 3 tweets, and the first one was to me because they watched this series, and I absolutely love that. So if you're watching this series, especially if you've watched the whole thing, please tweet me. Even, just send me a message. Even if it's not your first tweet, it's okay. But I would love to see you guys mention me on Twitter. I really enjoyed seeing that. So thank you for all of the support, everybody who shared this series as well. Check out some of my other series here on YouTube. If you haven't yet, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of content coming up throughout the rest of the year here, but this is all I have for you today. So this is Anson from AntsandAlex.com.